Listen carefully, because what you're about to hear is not what most men are taught. This isn't about chasing any woman. It's about choosing the one who truly ignites something in you. The one who seems out of reach, who keeps you awake at night with thoughts you can't shake, who makes your pulse race just by entering the room. You're about to understand how to step into her mind, gently dismantle her defenses, and lead her to a place where she wants you, not because you begged or pretended to be someone you're not, or placed her on some untouchable pedestal, but because you became the man who knows how to stir something deeper. This isn't about flowers, candlelit dinners, or rehearsed lines. This is about psychological power, cold, strategic, and brutally real. No one understood it better than Niccolo Machiavelli. His philosophy wasn't romantic. It was effective. It was about control, about understanding what truly moves people, not what they say moves them. And once you apply it, you'll stop chasing women. They'll start chasing you, but only if you're ready. Ready to unlearn the lies you've been told. Ready to stop hoping and start commanding. Because once you learn this, you won't be the same, and neither will the way women look at you. If you think women choose a man based on looks or wealth, you've already missed the mark. Yes, beauty might catch her eye, and money might open a door, but neither is the reason she lets you in. The truth is more subtle, more powerful, and more misunderstood. It's not the car you drive, the clothes you wear, or even the confidence you try to display. It's the invisible portrait she paints in her mind, the one where she feels your psychological weight. That, more than anything else, is what draws her in. She sees you through an emotional lens. Through that lens, she's not just analyzing your face or your bank balance, she's feeling your energy. She's feeling the emotional impact you create without even touching her. That's the secret. True attraction isn't logical, it's emotional. And it begins with her perception of your power. Not physical power, not financial power, but emotional power. Can you make her feel something she cannot easily explain? Can you unsettle her in just the right way? Think about it. She might say she wants a kind, stable, romantic man. She might say she values honesty, consistency, and safety. But look closer. Who does she truly give herself to? Who does she obsess over? It's the man who leaves her a little unsure, the one who doesn't always say the right thing, who doesn't lay out his emotions like a map. It's the man who challenges her, who throws her off balance just enough to make her heart skip. Desire doesn't follow a checklist. It doesn't reward manners or availability. It thrives in the unknown, in emotional conflict, in a space where her heart is pulled in more than one direction. When she doesn't know where she stands with you, she can't stop thinking about you. That's what obsession is. It's not built on comfort. It's built on tension. And most men destroy that tension the moment they try to be everything too soon, the moment they over-explain, over-text, over-give. The moment they treat her like a queen without making her earn it. You've been told to be transparent, open, expressive. You've been told that women will appreciate your honesty and that kindness will eventually win her over. But attraction doesn't reward predictability. In fact, predictability is the death of desire. She wants to feel something she can't quite control, something she can't fully define. That feeling lives in emotional imbalance, in wanting you, but not being sure if she has you. That's why the man who reveals everything too early becomes the friend, not the fantasy. He gives comfort, not fire. He removes every question, every mystery, and with that, he removes the fuel that desire needs to burn. If she knows exactly what you feel, if you're always available, if you respond instantly, you are no longer a challenge. You're an option. And options are forgettable. Instead, you need to be the presence that lingers in her mind. Not the man who gives everything, but the man who chooses what to give and when. The man who doesn't rush to prove himself, but lets her discover him piece by piece. That's how you create the gap, the one her imagination fills. That gap is where tension lives, where desire is born. When she feels she could lose you, she starts to want you. When she knows she already has you, she starts to devalue you. Machiavelli said, "He who shows weakness before the moment will be destroyed when the moment comes." That applies to you every time you overpraise her, every time you flood her with attention she hasn't earned, every time you act as if her time is more valuable than yours. You show your cards, and she sees you as someone she can control. But no woman desires a man she can fully control. She might enjoy him, but she won't burn for him. The man who holds back, who smiles but says little, who touches but then steps away, who gives warmth but also distance, he becomes the one she craves. Because in him, she feels alive. She feels challenged. She feels the uncertainty that awakens every primal part of her. She starts checking her phone, replaying your words, searching for clues in your silences. That is not a trick. It's a reflection of how desire truly works. Don't confuse this with playing games. This is about understanding psychology. It's about understanding that desire must be earned, not assumed. That when you give too much too soon, you rob her of the emotional journey she subconsciously seeks. You flatten the arc before it even begins. What most men don't realize is that giving less, strategically, intentionally, is what makes her give more. When she senses that your attention is valuable, she works to earn it. And when she works for something, she values it. But when it's handed to her, she questions its worth. She may smile at your messages, but she won't lie awake thinking about them. You must become the presence that doesn't beg to be noticed, but demands it simply by existing. That's the foundation. That's where the real power lies. Your presence must carry weight, an emotional gravity that pulls her in. And when you do speak slowly. Pause. Let the silence breathe. Let her sit in it. Don't rush to fill the space, because in that space, she wonders. In that wondering, she invests. And in that investment, her desire deepens. That's why you must understand the subtle difference between comfort and desire. Comfort is what you give a friend. Desire is what you give a woman who has to reach for you. The man who knows how to withhold, not out of fear, but out of mastery, becomes unforgettable. He's not needy. He's not chasing. He is simply not fully available. And that gap between what she wants and what she's getting becomes the space where attraction grows wild. You don't need to be rich. You don't need to be the best-looking man in the room. But you do need to be rare. A man who doesn't flood her with validation. A man who doesn't reveal everything in the first few meetings. A man who holds his presence like a blade, sharp, quiet, and always felt. That is the man who enters her dreams, not because of what he said, but because of what he didn't say. Not because of what he gave, but because of what he made her feel. And the truth is, if she doesn't feel she's at risk of losing you, she won't truly value you. Scarcity creates value. It always has. What's rare is always desired more than what's common. Think about it. The more easily something is obtained, the less the human mind respects it. We chase what is limited. We crave what is hard to find. That's why the man who is always available becomes forgettable. But the one who withdraws just enough to be missed becomes unforgettable. Here's where most men get it wrong. They confuse effort with effectiveness. They think the more they give, the more she'll feel. But giving too much, too soon, without resistance, tells her one thing. You need her more than she needs you. And that imbalance kills her motivation to pursue you. If she feels you are already hers without effort, she has no emotional stake in the outcome. But if she feels uncertain, if she senses that you could walk away, that she doesn't quite have you, then she begins to chase. That chasing is not manipulation. It's natural psychology. The brain values what it invests in. The more she thinks about you, works for your attention, questions your silence, the more she becomes emotionally entangled. And the moment she's emotionally invested, attraction deepens into something harder to shake. Desire. And desire is not built on clear answers. It's built on mystery. When she can't figure you out, when you don't always behave the way other men do, when you withhold approval and don't seek validation, she starts to ask herself, what makes him different? That question alone is powerful. It creates a loop in her mind, one that brings her back to you again and again, even if she doesn't fully understand why. That's the real currency of attraction. Not gifts, not praise, not effort, but emotional mystery. And that mystery doesn't come from being fake. It comes from understanding that your value is not in what you give. It's in how you carry yourself, in how you let her wonder, in how you show her glimpses, never the full picture. Niccolo Machiavelli said, "Power must be measured. It must be controlled. It is never given away freely. If you want to be desired, you must control the emotional flow. You don't reveal everything at once. You don't give your heart away before she's even worked to understand it. You let her imagination do some of the work. Instead of telling her your every thought, let her guess. Instead of reacting to everything she says, pause. Let the silence become a space she wants to fill. Instead of being the man who always says yes, be the man whose time must be earned. She won't feel this as cruelty. She'll feel it as challenge. And challenge, when mixed with desire, creates obsession. It's not about pretending. It's about presence, about emotional control, about walking into a room and letting your stillness speak louder than someone else's words. The way you carry yourself, your posture, your voice, your eye contact. These are not details. These are signals. They speak to her subconscious and tell her more than any compliment ever could. Most men think presence means performance, but real presence means restraint. It means saying less and watching more. It means letting her come to you emotionally, not rushing to fill every silence with your approval. When you stand still, composed, watching with calm curiosity, you're not just being mysterious, you're becoming magnetic. Attraction responds to energy. When yours is grounded, centered, unshaken, she notices. Not just consciously, but viscerally. She feels it before she thinks it. And when she feels it, she reacts. That's why when you control your energy, you control her experience of you. This is also why the nice guy fails, because the nice guy believes kindness is enough, that his goodness will be recognized and rewarded. But attraction doesn't operate on fairness. It isn't a prize for being polite. The nice guy lays all his cards on the table too soon. He gives everything before anything has been earned. And in doing so, he removes all tension, all mystery, all desire. She may appreciate him. She may even enjoy spending time with him. But she doesn't crave him, because there's nothing left to figure out. And people don't obsess over what they understand. They obsess over what they don't, over what confuses them, over what feels just out of reach. That's why the man who is slightly unreadable, who leaves emotional trails without showing the whole path, becomes the man she thinks about at night. Mystery doesn't mean being manipulative. It means being intentional. It means understanding that the less you reveal, the more she imagines. And what she imagines is always more powerful than what you explain. Her imagination will always build something more intoxicating than anything you could say. That's why you must never make yourself too available. Don't rush to reply. Don't always initiate. Don't offer your time like it's limitless. When your time feels rare, it becomes valuable. And when it's valuable, she protects it. She pursues it. She works for it. That's the shift. That's how you move from being an option to being an opportunity. An option is something she can take or leave. An opportunity is something she fears missing. That fear of missing you, of losing her place in your world, is what drives her to stay close. But that can only happen if you've made her feel that you are not easy to keep, that your presence is earned, not assumed. This doesn't mean playing hard to get. It means being hard to forget. It means understanding that scarcity creates value, not just in economics, but in emotion. The less she feels entitled to your time, the more she treasures every second of it. And when she feels your absence, not just physically, but emotionally, she starts to fill the silence with longing. When you withdraw at the right moment, not out of anger but out of strength, she notices. She questions. She reaches. And when you return, her attention is doubled, because your presence feels heavier, more real, more needed. The moment you return after pulling away with purpose, she begins to look at you differently. She doesn't just notice your presence, she feels it. And that feeling stays long after the conversation ends. It lingers in her thoughts, it echoes in her mind, and it makes her ask questions. Why did he pull away? Did I do something? Is he seeing someone else? These questions aren't signs of disinterest. They're symptoms of obsession. And obsession only grows in uncertainty. You must learn to wield absence as skillfully as you wield presence, not to punish, but to remind her that your attention is not guaranteed, that you are not hers by default, that she must earn your consistency. And when she feels that uncertainty, when she feels the risk of losing you, her mind will start to build stories, connect moments, and crave resolution. That craving is desire, and that desire becomes obsession. Here is what most men are never taught. When you hold your emotional ground, when you remain calm in moments where others would seek reassurance or validation, you don't just impress her, you influence her. You shape the emotional frame she sees you through. You become the man who cannot be easily shaken, the one who doesn't need her approval to feel whole. And that kind of man is rare. That kind of man is remembered. So how do you apply this without slipping into manipulation or arrogance? You begin with 3 foundational moves: eye contact, emotional ambiguity, and strategic withdrawal. Each one is simple, but each one, if used with control, changes the entire dynamic. Start with eye contact, not the kind that begs for approval or seeks permission, but the kind that studies, the kind that watches, waits, and doesn't need to fill the silence. Look at her not with the hunger of a man trying to impress, but with the discernment of a man who is evaluating. Your eyes should say, "I'm not here to chase. I'm here to decide." That shift alone creates power. It changes the frame. She is no longer the prize by default. You've reversed the current. You've made her wonder if she measures up to you. Then, give her emotional ambiguity. Avoid handing out clear answers too quickly. If you tell her exactly how you feel at every turn, the game is over before it begins. Instead, say things that hint, that tease, that make her question. "You're interesting, but I haven't figured out if that's a good thing yet." Or, "I like being around you, at least for now." These aren't rejections. They're invitations into uncertainty. They create a gap that she will want to close. That gap is the breeding ground of desire. Finally, withdraw with intent. When she's enjoying you, when she's fully present, when she feels close, pull back just enough to be felt. Don't ghost. Don't play games. Simply vanish for a little while. Let her feel your absence like a missing heartbeat. Let her wonder if she's lost your attention. Let her remember the intensity of your presence by removing it. And when you return, do so without explanation. Let her fill in the blanks. That silence, that unspoken moment of distance, will do more than words ever could. When these 3 steps are used together, something powerful happens. You no longer chase her energy. You control it. You become the man who changes her emotional weather. And when a woman feels that your presence shifts the atmosphere, she cannot ignore you. The truth is, women do not obsess over men they fully understand. They do not crave the predictable. They do not lie awake thinking about the one who always says the right thing, who never challenges them, who never withdraws. They crave the man who makes them feel something they can't name, the one who stays just out of emotional reach, the one who, even in silence, makes them feel watched, wanted, and on edge. That is not about being toxic. It is about being masterful. It's about recognizing that comfort creates stability, but mystery creates fire. When you give her both, when she feels safe around you but never fully certain of you, that's when you become unforgettable. That's when she starts to talk about you to her friends without even realizing why. That's when you become the man she compares others to, even when she's with them. You are not here to prove your worth. You are here to embody it. You are not here to convince her to want you. You are here to become the kind of man she can't stop wanting. That happens not through effort, but through strategy. Not through flattery, but through control. Control of your words. Control of your availability. Control of your presence. And most importantly, control of yourself. Because the moment you need her attention, you lose your value. But when you no longer need it, when you become the one who can walk away, the one who doesn't fear her silence, the one who gives without begging, you gain something far more powerful than approval. You gain respect. And respect, when laced with desire, becomes something even more addictive: devotion. You are not just a man. You are a psychological force, a presence that alters her emotional chemistry, a mystery that lives in the corners of her mind, even when you're not around. That is not the result of charm. That is the result of discipline. And that discipline is what separates the forgettable from the unforgettable. She may not understand it. She may not be able to explain it, but she will feel it. She will feel your energy before you speak. She will feel your absence when you're gone. And she will feel your value not because you told her, but because she had to figure it out for herself. That's why you must stop explaining. Stop justifying. Stop trying to prove that you're different. Be different. Be the one who doesn't flinch. Be the one who doesn't rush. Be the one who makes her feel both seen and unsure at the same time. And when you do, something else will happen. She'll stop testing you, because she'll know she can't shake you. And that knowing creates a deep, quiet hunger in her. A hunger for a man she cannot move, but desperately wants to reach. That's the man she gives herself to. Not the one who always says yes. Not the one who explains himself in paragraphs. Not the one who fills silence with nervous laughter. But the one who makes her feel a little unsure. The one who creates emotional gravity. So remember this, you're not here to chase women. You're here to understand power. You're here to learn how to move without rushing, how to speak without explaining, how to look without needing. You're here to become the rare presence that cannot be ignored. Because once you control the emotional rhythm, once you know when to give and when to hold back, when to speak and when to disappear, you no longer need to convince her of anything. She'll feel it, and she'll chase it. And that is when everything changes. You stop playing the game that other men lose, and you start writing the rules.